Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin mi naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants here. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we are going to be visiting with my friend Pancho Shani. Pancho's family runs a cool place. It's a restaurant, it's a bar, it's a coffee shop, it's a chocolate shop, it's a cigar maker and cigar purveyor. It's a sidewalk cafe. It's called Vallarta Factory. And Pancho is going to tell us about Vallarta Factory as well as two other restaurants in the Grupo. And we're going to go visit one of my favorite leather shops in town. But before we get to my guests, Pancho and Jose, let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta, the 30th of August, 2019. The mosquitoes are out, like I said a couple weeks ago, and we've talked about dengue issues, dengue fever in Jalisco in the past and in Puerto Vallarta. And we also remember, if you listen to the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show, to protect yourselves during the day when the mosquito that transmits the disease, the dreaded dengue, transmits the disease during the day. So this story is actually about a Kiwi athlete who contracted dengue in Yalapa, and it reads, former ski champion, 36-year-old, dies from mosquito-borne illness while traveling in Mexico. New Zealand ski champion Felipe Peep Grieg has died after contracting dengue fever from a mosquito bite while traveling in Mexico. She was 36. Grieg's father, Robert Grieg, confirmed the news of his daughter's death to the New Zealand Herald. He said Pip was house-sitting for a friend in a small village in Mexico when she contracted the mosquito-borne viral infection and fell ill. Rob suspected that she was sick for 4 or 5 days until neighbors insisted she go to a base hospital in Puerto Vallarta, a 40-minute boat ride away, to seek help. There, Rob explained to the outlet that Pip succumbed to the disease on August 17th, said that CPR was applied for 40 minutes, but that his daughter could not be revived. We are devastated, said Rob, who was traveling in Sweden with his wife Roz at the time of Pip's death. It's very, very tough. And it's not the way you want to bring your child home, that's for sure. It's going to take some time to work through it all, but we are so appreciative of all the support that we are getting. It's a wee warning to anyone that travels that these things happen, he added. There are 2 forms of dengue fever, and she got the worst one. Incidences of dengue fever have increased over the last 50 years, according to the World Health Organization, with up to 50 to 100 million infections now estimated to occur annually in over 100 endemic countries. That puts almost half the world's population at risk. The disease is carried by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, though humans become the main carriers after being bit, spreading it to uninfected mosquitoes. The virus circulates in the blood of an infected person for 2 to 7 days, the World Health Organization says. Symptoms mirror a severe flu, the WHO warns. Those infected will experience high fever, severe headache, pain behind the eyes, nausea, vomiting, swollen glands, rash, and muscle and joint pains. In extreme and potentially deadly cases, the WHO notes symptoms will transition into severe abdominal pain, persistent vomiting, rapid breathing, bleeding gums, and blood in vomit, as well as fatigue and restlessness. Those typically occur 3 to 7 days after the first symptoms appear. For those cases, proper medical care is critical within the next 24 to 48 hours to avoid complications and risk of death, stresses the World Health Organization. Pip won the Open Women's title at the 2004 New Zealand Free Ski Nationals in the Skier X discipline, while a member of the New Zealand ski team. A Queenstown native, she managed Pinewood Lodge, which her family owns and operates until last year when she left to travel, and her brother. And I have a link to the article in the show notes. Very, very sad. And I went over to the official figures, and here's what we have from Contralina.net online. According to the figures from the SSJ so far in 2019, 1,204 cases of dengue, 924 classics, and 280 hemorrhagic have been confirmed in Jalisco, of which 230 were reported this week, in addition to the 2 deaths this Monday and that of the reported days ago in Puerto Vallarta. These 3 municipalities where most of the confirmed cases are concentrated are, let's see here, Guadalajara with 351, Zapopan with 147, and Puerto Vallarta with 104. And I have a link to that article as well in the show notes. So wear your mosquito repellent, everybody. Please wear it day and night. Don't leave home without it. The rainfall totals to date are almost neck and neck, according to our rainfall measurer person, Angela, with her weather station up above the Que Pasa restaurant over in the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood. Angela reports that this year so far, 33.9 inches have fallen, as compared to last year's 32.91 inches. So there's a mere 1 inch separating last year's totals to date. And thank you very much. Thanks for doing all that, Angela. And we'll be keeping an eye on the water in Puerto Vallarta. Water seems to be very important along the bay nowadays. There was a ziplining accident on Monday, and here's a report from Reporte Diario online, translated from Spanish to English. So here goes. Foreign tourist remains delicate after falling from the canopy El Eden. Officials' sources confirm that the zip line was blown, where the guide was also injured, after the fact recorded on Monday morning, in which the 911 emergency number of an injured male was reported after falling from the zip line located in Eden. It transpired that in addition to the subject, who works as a guide for the place by the name of Cesar Lopez, also a tourist, a woman originally from California, identified as 33-year-old Harika, fell from the line. Official sources confirmed after investigation of the facts that the accident of the 2 people occurred because the line of the zip line burst, both falling almost 25 meters above the water, which caused them not to die from the impact. However, both were left with delicate injuries. On one hand, the guide injured the lower extremities and pelvic fracture, while the tourist was also transferred to the San Javier Hospital with serious injuries. At the moment, corresponding authorities proceeded to close the canopy to avoid more accidents and an assessment of the state in which the other lines that are used for this extreme activity are found. And I have a link to that article in the show notes. And I also have some pictures of the paramedics at work on these poor people. And I got those, of course, from Diario Vallarta, so thank you for the photos. But anyway, while I was looking for any updates to the conditions of the guide and the tourist, and by the way, there were none. It looks like the incident had been buried. And of course, I was alarmed at the fall. 25 meters is about 75 feet. That's a long way down. And they say that that fall was broken by the water. But while I was looking for the story, looking for a little bit of, looking for an update, I was totally blown away by this story. This was from 3 years ago. It was over at El Nogalito Zip Lines. So check this out. From KPIX CBS Channel 5 in San Francisco, Juliette Goodrich reporting.
Only on 5, a Bay Area woman is back home and recovering after her zip line broke during a day excursion in Puerto Vallarta. She says she is lucky to be alive and wanted to tell her story to us as a warning to others.
I mean, I thought I was dead. I thought I was never, ever going to see my children again.
Heather Gladden and her husband Ryan went on a vacation cruise to Mexico. It was supposed to be a relaxing getaway without their children.
I mean, I know I'm alive, but it's my mind. Just can't grasp it.
Absolutely.
Can't grasp it at all.
The couple decided to take a day excursion in Puerto Vallarta and go ziplining across a gorge in Nogalito Eco Park. This is the zipline company's website video.
So you'd retighten me and click me back on my line and said, adios, and he pushed me.
But Heather only made it halfway across the gorge.
Next thing, I could hear the trees rustling through my ears and the noise of the tree branches, and then just a hard yank. And when I opened up my eyes, I was upside down in the tree.
Her husband was ahead of her on the next platform and knew something wasn't right.
All I saw was the wire literally go right through my legs, hit the ground, and then went over the cliff. And I told the guy, like, what just happened? He's like, I don't know, this has never happened before.
At that point in time, I didn't think I was going to make it.
As soon as he left the platform,
Monica and John Lee of Hayward were on the same zip line, waiting to go next.
we heard the line snap.
And then they said they saw Heather plunge 500 feet.
It was traumatic. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe
and
what
then
had
you just
happened.
hear her yelling,
Yeah,
just
she's
screaming.
Heather's husband says he rushed down the canyon listening for his wife's screams, desperate to find her.
Well, the only thing I can think about is she impaled? Is she on the ground in broken pieces? And I look up, and there she is dangling from the tree upside down.
After 30 minutes, Ryan and employees of the zipline ride lowered her to the ground and directly onto an ambulance.
I have bruising throughout my right leg with nasty cable burns and a possible torn ACL.
The Nogalito Zipline Company did not return our repeated calls or emails, but a manager reportedly told the Press Democrat the cable on the zip line did not detach or break at the end, but only drooped when a cable support mechanism failed. The manager said she believed it was a slow drop, but that's not what Heather says she experienced.
I just want tourists to know, that we need to have some kind of safety.
Are most zip lines in the United States accredited?
Well, unfortunately, no.
Bill Weaver with ACCT, a nationwide agency setting safety standards for challenge courses and zip lines, says most companies do comply with a safety industry standard. However,
In Mexico currently, there is no mandatory requirement that is placed upon them to comply with any industry standard.
his advice to participants anywhere: read all terms of the waiver you sign. Pay attention to weight, height, and medical requirements and restrictions. Ask the question, has the company passed a safety inspection by a certified inspector? And is there a secondary braking system on all the zip lines? He says make sure the guides wait for the arrival of a previous rider before sending the next rider out.
The mental nightmares are horrible. It replays over and over and over again.
So cruise lines and some travel agencies make sure that their land activities meet the required safety standards. But many tourists buy tours on their own and directly from the operators or even third-party sellers. So that is what Heather and her husband did, along with the Hayward couple that was there to comfort them. Those two couples didn't know each other. They met when they were ziplining, and that's how they came to know each other.
You know, in watching that, and I knew you were going to air the story tonight, how did she survive that fall?
500 feet.
I think, and she believes it, that the tree, the canopy of trees broke her fall. Had that not been in that gorge, she would have gone straight down. But even that, she said that, she didn't have any markings on her face. She had a lot of bruises on her leg and torn ACL, but she's very lucky.
Yeah, 500 feet. 500 feet. Zip line, anyone? All right. Anyway, I find it interesting that they mention the cruise line affiliated with the zip lines, somehow that would make them somehow safer than the other ones. I don't know. I wonder if the incident happened on a cruise ship that was accredited and sanctioned, by the cruise company. Would the cruise line actually step in and take responsibility if they had a snapping cable? I don't know. I doubt it. But maybe I'm wrong. Now, I have pictures, like I said, of that snapped line, too. It's pretty crazy. Go to www.PuertoVallartaTravelShow.com and check out this particular blog post. You will be blown away. Now, I have an article here from the Mazatlan Post. It's translated from the original Spanish from Vallarta Independiente. This is something that you listeners of the podcast already know. And it reads, Airbnb gives Puerto Vallarta hoteliers a severe blow to business. The online space rental platform accounted for much of the tourism, and occupancy rates were reduced compared to last year. The hotel industry suffered a severe blow this summer season, as its occupancy rates did not come close to that of recorded in past holiday periods due to the popularity of Airbnb, which offers alternative spaces and at a lower cost. Regularly, the trend in summer vacations in the percentage of occupation was going up. However, Puerto Vallarta and Banderas Bay have taken an important popularity in the application, even reaching the top 5 of the most sought-after destinations worldwide. This boom caused a large sector of visitors to choose better to stay in private homes, apartments, or studios to save the stay and live a different experience than the one lived in a hotel. In this region, there are more than 15,000 spaces for rent published in Airbnb, and the offer continues to increase, so it's necessary to regulate and prevent losses from continuing in the hotel sector, which is the main source of jobs in Puerto Vallarta. And that article, I've got a link to it from Vallarta Independiente. And you know what? They're right. I made my reservations just the other day for my upcoming trip to Puerto Vallarta in October. And yes, I have. I've started the countdown of the nights that I'll be back in paradise. I know we all do that, right? 30, how many is it? 36 days? Yeah, 36 days, I think it is. And I'm going to be staying in 2 different places this time. Yes, I'll be sleeping around. Don't tell my wife. But hey, I'm doing this all for you, so that you can get more experiences. I can take some more photos and take some more videos and have a little bit more fun and introduce you to some interesting, cheap places to stay in Puerto Vallarta. I'm going to be spending about $30 US a night at these Airbnbs. Now, the airfare part, that's a different story. I got a message from my friend Melissa, who sent me an email saying that Southwest is now going to be ending their nonstop service from LAX to Puerto Vallarta at the beginning of the year. And I noticed also that their prices went up. They have fewer days that they fly. So I had to switch from my favorite airline to Alaska, and I found a nonstop, cheap seat, no frills kind of a thing. Round trip. I ride on the wing, by the way, if they run out of seats. That's the kind of seat I got. $300 US round trip from LA. So 12 nights lodging. Round trip airfare comes to $660 US. And that is pretty good, if you ask me. Even though it's, it's off season, still not bad. I'm going to be spending about $70 for traveler's insurance, of course, on top of that. And I might need to add another bag to bring down for an additional probably $35 according to Alaska Airlines. And of course, I'm going to be needing to eat, right? I'm going to need food and drink and transportation. Of course, that's not all included. In fact, none of that is included in my $660 US flying and staying package. But I also made arrangements with Pamela Thompson-Webb from Healthcare Resources PV, and I'm going to have a colonoscopy while I'm in Puerto Vallarta with Dr. Hoya. And, the reason I'm doing that, everyone's, why are you doing that, Barry? Well, I'm doing it for you. No, really, I'm doing it for me. Currently, my healthcare plan, I pay for one that covers just catastrophic illness. Both my wife and I are very healthy people. We don't get sick much. We're not on any kinds of medications. We don't have to take any drugs or anything like that. So my plan just covers the catastrophic injury and illness and stuff like that. And so any doctor visits that I make are out of pocket. And so at home, a colonoscopy I checked it out, would run about $3,300 if I pay cash. That's, of course, out of pocket. And in Puerto Vallarta, it's 6,500 pesos, or about $330 US. So that's a little bit different, right? 700 pesos per biopsy at the lab if they're needed, and that translates to about $35 per biopsy. So, you know what? I'm going to really get my money's worth this trip. It's like I'm going to be traveling for free. Anyway, I'll let you know how it went, of course, and maybe I'll even I'll interview the doctor. I'll interview Dr. Hoya. Of course, I'll try not to interview him while he's doing the procedure, okay? Okay, enough of this. All right, let's get on with the interviews, shall we? All right, now I'm a guy. I'm not a big shopper, but when I come to Puerto Vallarta, the things that I do buy, I usually look for at least one piece of art to hang on the wall at my house. I always buy some beaded earrings that I give away as gifts all year round to all of my friends. And I always buy a purse for my lovely wife. I love to shop for boots and sandals for myself. And my favorite leather shop is a place. It's right behind the Devil's Bar in the flea market. Right off of the Malecon, right underneath the building. It's in the building Malecon too. This flea market, by the way, a lot of people don't know it's even there. But you can walk through there. There's all kinds of great places, lots of great bargains too. Not as busy as the municipal market, so it's a little bit different. So check it out when you go down there. So this place is, and by the way, I send you to places that I go to that I like. This is why I'm talking about this particular place. This guy has the biggest selection and some of the best prices in town on leather goods. And, of course, I highly recommend them. So let's go right now to Avenida Agustin Rodriguez. It's at the end, where it dead ends into the Malecon, right behind the Devil's Bar. And let's meet the manager, Jose Luis, from Toni's Boot Store. Jose Luis, thanks for talking with me today.
Oh, yeah. Bueno.
Tell me about this place. What is the name of it?
Toni's Boot Store.
Okay, so tell us what you have. If someone comes walking into Toni's Boot Store, what are they going to find?
Oh, many things. Leather sandals, leather purses. Let's see, we have a lot of selection in purses. We got like a sandals, got some cowboy boots. Also, we got some nice selection in holsters. A lot of stuff with everybody,
So the holsters, the people that come and get those, are they the cowboys from around here, or you get from the States too?
Normally, the most things just take it home and get something put up on the wall, sometimes for the shows, something like that. That's why the most people get that kind of stuff to take it home and put up on the wall and put it on your friends and say, we have some nice stuff right here, and there's a nice one.
Very good. Oh, it's a good idea. So you don't have to be a gunslinger to take a holster home. It's a nice decoration.
Exactly, like a bull whips. We have some nice also.
Yeah, and you don't expect people to be using those on, well, no. I don't know.
Normally it's just for decoration.
Okay, well, that's probably a good thing.
We have some purses here. We got some boots, got some nice sandals, something custom make, good sandals, and make good ones.
Now, these are custom made that you sell, or do you actually custom make some?
Somebody's making for us. Yeah, it's nice. The most things we make in Guadalajara, Michoacan, many Mexican places. They made about all handmade, made a good stuff.
Right, so everything here is made in Mexico.
Yep.
It's handmade by really good craftsmen.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you, I have to agree, all the boots that I ever bought here, I still have them. I square dance in them, okay? I actually wear them, so he's absolutely right. So give us some price ranges of some of the things you have here. If somebody wanted to buy, let's say, a pair of boots, you have different kinds of skins for them too. What kinds of hides do you have for those?
Normally now we have it's only like cowhide. Some boots we have only looks like a crocodile, but it's made of a cowhide because we protection the fauna and the animals. That we have only something looks like a real one, like a real crocodile, real alligator, but made in cowhide. Looks exactly like the real one, but in a copy. But it's real leather. Only just make them in cow.
Good.
So it's good. It's good for everybody. Good.
Right.
For
nice, ecologically sound.
Exactly.
All right. So, do you have anything other than just leather?
Normally now we have in cowhide. See, like an ostrich looks like ostrich, but it's cowhide.
It is. Oh wow, it looks great.
Also, don't know what real one is. The snakes. The snake is a nice one. It's a real one.
Okay, so snake is still allowed.
I used to sell stingray, but now we don't have it. Normally we got all this kind of stuff.
Okay, now was that because that was banned, or is it because you just don't have can't get it yet?
Don't make them anymore. Passive factions and make them. Today make them something to not the best, not bad. Also make them sometimes someday make them ostrich, someday make a crocodile, and later make different kind of skins. Sometimes we have it like lizard, but the most ones I have is cowhide.
Okay, good. So price-wise, what are we talking about? For a man's boot, for example.
Men's boots? Normally we got pointy toe, round toe, like this kind, like a square one. And also we got all sizes. Normally size 3 to about size 12, size 14. Only in my place we got that big sizes. Yeah. Because it's very hard to find those kind of sizes.
Yeah, no kidding.
We have.
And you do have them. And I do. I can attest to that once again. I have big feet. All right, so price-wise, what are we talking about?
In boots, we started about like $100 to $280, $300. In pesos, we're talking about 1,800 pesos to 3,600 pesos price range.
Yeah, very reasonable. Now, as far as ladies' boots, do you carry the selection of those?
Some styles, not much. Normally, it's more for men's.
Yeah. Okay, and you have
a little selection.
Okay, and you got belts. Do you fit those to people too?
Mm-hmm. I got a belt here. I got the shoes. See, right? I got some hats. See, like these kinds. We got flip-flop sandals. Also, see those ones? I got some funny pouches. We got some better selection here. You see this kind? Sandals too right here. A little bags, a little female purses. And I got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you do. You got lots of nice purses.
Something nice here, a nice selection too.
Yeah, some great-looking men's shoes. Some really good-looking men's shoes, all made in Mexico.
Exactly. Everything. This is Mexican merchandise.
Yeah, and it looks like you also have vests and lots of purses.
We got purses. We got some wallets. We got male and female. For ladies, we got a lot of stuff besides boots.
Excellent. Okay, so tell us about your hours. What are your hours here?
Normally, we work 8 hours a day. In the morning, we open 10 in the morning to 8 in the night, all day long.
All day long, every day?
Yeah. The most places Monday to Saturday. Only in Sundays, we close early, 6 o'clock, about 10 to 6 o'clock.
Okay, so you're here all the time. You're here for everybody. And where would they find you? What streets are you on?
The name of the street is Rodriguez Street in Morelos. It's just across the street to the boardwalk.
Right across the street from the boardwalk. And you're right across the street from like an ice cream place, too. You're right next door to rum and tequila and cigars.
You know the Lorena Ochoa? You see it right there? You see Lorenisha, the one with the...
Yes, she's the golfer.
Exactly, golfer.
All right,
girl.
so look for the golfer on the Malecon, then just start walking towards Morelos and look to your left, and you will find this place called...
Toni's Boot Store.
So-
The best quality, good place to buy good stuff in leather. Come here and we got some good deals.
All right, now, while I got you here, Jose, let me ask you a couple questions about Puerto Vallarta. If you were going to go and get a good breakfast, where would you go?
No, to the market. Yeah, the market is about, the municipal market. It's about 3 blocks from here, second floor. You can find a lot of restaurants. I mean, for a local and make a good food.
Yeah, they do. You got a favorite?
I think I got many places. La Marina, DeCantaro. We got a lot of many nice places to eat.
Okay,
Make good tortillas and make different kind of seafood, Mexican foods. And also if you want to eat some Mexican food like enchiladas, across the street to the church. The name of the place is Campanario. Good place to go there. You got a good prices and it has good flavor.
Yeah, I like
That's
that
why
place.
the most people going there and you got a good taste.
Yeah. Cool. All right. If you had a word of advice to a first-time traveler coming to Puerto Vallarta, besides coming to Toni's Boots place here, what would you suggest they do?
I don't know. So there's a lot of places to visit. Beautiful places. So nice.
So get out, right? Get out and visit.
Exactly.
Are you on Facebook, or do you have like a web page or anything like that?
No. It's only I think only in the yellow page maybe right now it's on Facebook. Most people stay right now in Facebook and Instagram maybe.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what. Now you're going to be on the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. So if you don't have a page, you're going to have one now. So there.
Right.
Jose, Luis, muchísimas gracias por hablando conmigo.
Okay, amigo. Thanks a lot.
All right. Now, during that interview, I was following Jose around the store the entire time. And so I hope that all sounds okay. I took lots of pictures of his inventory. That's really what you got to do. You got to go over to the show notes and check out his great selection of quality leather items, all at great prices. And like I said before, my boots, they look great after years and years of use. And I have a map. It'll take you right to the front door of Toni's Boot Store. And it's spelled Toni, not Tony. And when you go there, tell Jose Luis that you heard about it on the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. He'll get a kick out of that. Now, my next guest was introduced to me by my buddy and friend of the show, Jamie Burton Chamberlain. Jamie, as you may remember, is from Black Dahlia Clothing and Productions and the Red Room over at Culture. By the way, we were doing an afternoon of recording interviews with artists over at Culture at the time, and I'm going to have an episode with all of them really, really soon, including Jamie and Cassandra Shaw and others. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, we were taking a ride around town, and he said, "Hey, have you ever done an interview over at Vallarta Factory?" And I said, "No, not yet, but if you know somebody, go ahead, introduce me. I love the place." And so he said, "Sure." So we stopped and we pulled in and opened up the door, and there's a lovely lady, Marcia. And he says, "Hey, Marcia, will you talk to Barry?" And Marcia said, "No." "No, I will not talk to him. I won't do that. But you know what? Pancho, my son will do it. Pancho will do it." So I said, "Okay, that'd be great." So Jamie did his magic. He picked up his cell phone. He hooked me up with his friend Pancho, a couple texts back and forth, and before you know it, the next afternoon, I was sitting down inside of this air-conditioned restaurant with a cup of delicious coffee in front of me, and then I was joined by my new friend, who is now going to be your new friend too, a very interesting fellow, Pancho Shani, and Pancho will tell you all about his great places in paradise. He's going to talk about Vallarta Factory, right in central Vallarta. He's going to talk about DeCantaro Restaurant in the Romantic Zone on Basillio Badillo and Swell Beach Bar, located on Playa Los Muertos in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So let's go right now to Calle Libertad 100 in central Puerto Vallarta, and let's meet Pancho Shani from Vallarta Factory. Pancho, thanks for joining me today.
No, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. You're from Puerto Vallarta, aren't you?
Born and raised, third generation. My family's been here since 1905 on my mom's side. And on my dad's side, we're from the States, actually, believe it or not. Went to school here, and then once I graduated the American School of Puerto Vallarta, was accepted into a prestigious military academy in the South called Citadel. I was there for 2 years. Then shortly after my second year, my unit ended up getting activated, served 3 tours in Iraq, and then that's when I decided to come back home.
Yeah. Well, sure. I'd come back home, too, after 3 tours in Iraq.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thanks for your service.
My pleasure.
All right. So tell us a little bit about Vallarta Factory. What's it all about here?
It's your local one-stop shop, so to speak. I mean, you name it, we got it. When we first started out, it was just simply a cigar shop. And then after 2008, we found ourselves in a pickle, and we decided to diversify the business, and we started adding more stuff to it. So we started working with coffee, then chocolates, then we opened the restaurant, and then now it is what it is today.
So how long's this business been here?
We've been a store since 94, but we started as a cigar shop in 98.
Okay.
So yeah, we've been here for 20 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you've been here a long time. I mean, most restaurants don't make it that long for sure. And,
yeah.
You know. Okay, so you've got cigars, you've got coffee, you've got booze, you've got food. I mean, you've got just about everything here, which is pretty cool. Tell us about the coffee that you have here.
Our coffee is a blend of high-altitude, organic, shade-grown, rainforest certified, and it's a blend of Oaxaca, Chiapas, and Veracruz. And we also have, we do it in a medium roast, dark roast, and house blend, which is 50% medium, 50% dark. And then we also have a line called San Sebastian, which is made with San Sebastian coffee.
Nice.
Or coffee beans.
Coffee beans. So everything's local?
Everything's local. We do the roasting ourselves. We used to do it on site, but because of zoning rights, we had to change that. And now we have to do it elsewhere. But we're still doing the packaging and the roasting ourselves, and the blending, of course.
Nice. And so, obviously, you're serving this coffee as well as selling it, yes?
Absolutely, yeah. And we also sell to some other retailers in town.
Okay.
You can find us in some of the shops as you're leaving PV at the airport. And we're also in some other boutique hotels scattered around town.
Right on. All right. Talk about diversification. You're moving around, huh?
Yeah, that's the name of the game. I mean, if you sit still, it's like you got to go after it. You can't just wait for the world to come to you.
That's for sure. All right. That's smart. Let's talk about your cigars. You've got a big room. You've got a humidor going. Tell us about what you carry.
So our walk-in humidor, again, goes back to 98. And we're the first ones in town to sell Cuban cigars right at the peak of the cigar boom, which is from 93 to 96, depending on who you're talking to. But we started selling in 96. By 98, everybody was starting to sell. So we said, we have to do something different. And made some phone calls, and we decided, you know what, let's start making our own.
Wow.
So we started bringing some tobacco from Nicaragua, from Dominican Republic, and then the other half mostly from Veracruz. Back then, shipping wasn't as complicated as now. Now we only work with hybrids. So we have a Nicaraguan hybrid or strain. The seeds from Nicaragua, but grown in Veracruz. We have a Cuban strain from Cuba, but obviously, again, the seeds from Cuba, but grown in Veracruz. And then we have San Andres Claro and San Andres Oscuro, which are native to Veracruz. So we work with those three strands, and we have primarily three different blends: a mild, a medium, and a full body. Our mild blend is called Especiales, which is a full Mexican blend made with 4 and 5-year-old tobacco. Our medium body blend called Mestizo, which is made with our Mexican Claro, which is really smooth, with 16-year-old Oscuro, Cuban tobacco or Cuban seed. And then Ultimas is mostly all Nicaraguan. And then in between those three blends, we have a total of 15 different sizes. Okay. So we've done a really good job at diversifying those three blends and making sure we're able to accommodate anyone who's a novice smoker to intermediate all the way up to an aficionado. And I've been in this business for, almost 15 years now. And in the 15 years I've been here, I could probably say I've only met 3 or 4 people that truly knew about cigars. Everybody else is either starting out or has been smoking for, a couple of years and is always just looking to find something new. And that's what's so great about this is like, you can be in it for as long as I have, and you can bump into someone and you start a conversation, and the next thing you know is like, it's just a reminder as to how little you know about this world that we live in.
Yeah.
There's always something new to discover. And that's what's so great about working with tobacco or coffee or chocolate is that if you're involved in the process, you're that much closer to the materials that go into it. You're that much committed to the local environment, and you're that much committed to your clientele.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's talk about chocolate. Let's go from cigars to chocolate.
Let's go to cigars to chocolate. Our chocolate was really an accident. It wasn't something that we had planned on. It's something that just came about, just fooling around one day. And one of the chefs in the kitchen happened to be a chocolatier. And he showed us some stuff, and we were instantly hooked. So at the time, Choca Diva, had I think she'd probably been on her 10th year by now, but when we started, and we said, look, she's had a tremendous success. Let's see what happens. So we started. Back then, we were only working with a Belgium cacao butter, which is actually from Mexico, but Belgium buys the raw material, processes it, and then sells it back to us and the rest of the world. It was pretty much a crazy thing, thinking that we have all the materials, all the knowledge. And it was like, why don't we do it? I was like, I don't know. I wish I could answer that. But that's the way it is. We do roast cacao beans, and we do have a couple lines that we package and we sell at our store here right next door. And they're really good. We also have a power bar that we've made from cocoa beans. It only has 4 ingredients: cocoa beans, cinnamon, brown sugar, and lecithin. And lecithin is a substance that's used to increase the viscosity and the gumminess, if you want to call it that way, out of any substance that you're trying to solidify.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so do you make bars? What are you making? What are you making with the chocolate?
We have 2 lines. We have our Belgium line made with Belgian chocolate, made by us here. And then we also have a dark chocolate line that's only made with the roasted cacao beans and brown sugar and cinnamon that we do here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then we also have a couple other handmade products that are made with chocolate as well. We have soaps, creams, cooking oils, you name it. You can pretty much find it in that little shop. And we also have cinnamon. So I know cinnamon's a big thing these days. Even though everyone's looking for the real deal, the actual seed or the stem, we just sell the abstract, the liquid abstract.
Oh,
vanilla.
Extract.
Yeah, the extract,
Yeah.
vanilla extract in liquid form. So you can find plenty of that with us as well.
Nice. Wow, this is a one-stop shopping place here.
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
All right, let's go from here to the meals you serve. You serve breakfast, you serve lunch, you serve dinner here, right?
So we have a breakfast menu that's really taken off. We have a tremendous amount of following with that menu. So if you're coming here on a Sunday or Saturday, my advice to you is to get here early.
Really, yeah.
And then we also have a lunch and dinner menu. But back to the breakfast menu, what's on it? You have anything from chilaquiles to eggs Benedict to English muffins. We pretty much got everything covered.
You do the pancake thing.
We got pancakes and waffles. Also, if you just want to do a light lunch, light breakfast, and do the continental thing, then we can do that as well. And then some people just come in for our yogurt and the nuts and berries that we put them in. And that's all they have. They have that with coffee and in and out, and they love it.
Yeah. Well, the coffee here is delicious, I got to tell you.
Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it right now.
This is great. I'm having coffee. I'm talking to you. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to your lunch and dinner menu. What's on there?
Our lunch and dinner menu, we have, obviously, because, we're somewhat of a deli coffee shop, we had to include some of our favorite sandwiches. So we have some paninis on there. We have, obviously, a buffalo burger, a regular burger, and our pizzas, which are absolutely to die for. That's
Really?
one of the specialties here.
Wow. Awesome.
Thin crust. The dough is made by us. The other day, someone approached me and they said, I heard you guys put beer in your dough. It's like, well, we do and we don't. It's all a matter as to how we're feeling that day.
How it's going to turn out, right?
Yeah. But, no, our dough is made properly. It's not made with too much flour. We keep everything very neat, very clean, and very simple. And we try to stick to our original techniques from which we learned from a couple of chefs that came in and did a great job in training our staff.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right, so how late are you open for dinner?
So for our lunch and dinner menu, it starts at 1 o'clock, and we go all the way up to 10:30.
Wow. So you're open a long time.
Yeah, we're open from Monday to Saturday. We start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we close at 11 o'clock at night.
Wow. You open every day?
Open every day. Sundays we open at 9, and we close at 5.
Okay. Now, a lot of people choose to go and eat outside there. You've got a nice little patio set up right in front of the place.
Yeah, we're actually one of the few places in town where you can go outside, have a meal, have a few drinks, enjoy a coffee, and have a cigar.
Yeah.
There's less than a handful of places that lets you do all those 5 things.
Exactly. And you've got that patio outside, so people aren't going to be like walking through your meal, or they're walking around your meal, which is better than walking through your meal.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. We're going to come back to Vallarta Factory in a little bit, but let's talk a little bit about Puerto Vallarta, because you are Pata Salada, and so, we're going to talk about, normally I talk about food, but you do it all here, so we're not going to go there. We're going to go right on to what you would suggest to a first-time visitor that comes to Puerto Vallarta.
For a first-time visitor, my advice to you is, first of all, find a way to stay close to town. And secondly, that you stay at a bed and breakfast or at a boutique hotel of some sort.
Yeah.
Don't, fall into a trap and try to stay at a resort because, it's a tourist trap. They're going to try and steal you away from all the fun so that they can make most of the business. I don't discourage them from trying, but if there's anything I can do to discourage you from doing it, then absolutely.
Yeah, exactly right. So, because a lot of times some of these resorts, they kind of tell you that it's dangerous to go into town and stuff like that just to scare you.
And you see a lot of that in Dominican Republic and Jamaica even. If you stay at the resort, they'll tell you, you can't go into town, it's not safe. I was like, have you ever spoken to any Dominicans or any Jamaicans? And they'll tell you there's safe places to go and there are not so safe places to go. And that's the story in any city across the world. So it's no different here. If you come in, we've already been nominated as one of the friendliest cities in the world. So if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does.
Yeah. Do you have any words of warning for someone who's coming to Puerto Vallarta?
Do I have any what?
Any words of warning?
Any words of warning? Try to exchange most of your money at your local bank before you try exchanging your foreign currency here. You'll get a better rate. Rates here fluctuate on a day-to-day, and what you see online from the central banks in Mexico won't be the same from the local banks here, because what happens is the local banks or the exchange houses make a buck on the difference from what they're quoting here as opposed to what the Bank of Mexico is quoting.
I see. Okay.
So that would be probably my best advice and my best words of warning.
Yeah. It's very interesting, because I agree with you. I went to a money exchange in Los Angeles, and I think I got 18. After they did their thing, it was 18 pesos. When I got here, it was closer to 17. Plus, using an ATM, you also get the ATM fee, which can be anywhere from 30 to 50 pesos.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. And I always told people, hey, wait till you get to the airport and do the exchange there. When you're in the lobby, go to one of those machines down there. But I'm finding that you're absolutely right. If you go to an exchange place at home, you probably get a better rate.
Oh, you do, for a fact. Right now I've been jumping back and forth between here and Toronto for the last 3 years, and I've gone through all the motions and hacks and knickknacks, and I can tell you, it's like you're better off just doing it at home while you can, at your own pace and at your own comfort, right, before you come down here than trying to rush and doing things last minute.
Right, exactly right. Okay, that's great advice. Now, you have more than one property. I know that you guys have a couple. right?
We have a couple. Yeah, it's a big family. So
Yeah, so come on, tell us about what you got going.
well, we have Swell, which is a beach bar. It's literally right next to what used to be El Dorado. Or I think it's still El Dorado,
It's
right?
still called El Dorado, sure.
They were calling it something else for a little bit there. So we're right next door to El Dorado. If you're on Playa de los Muertos and you don't know where El Dorado is, look for La Palapa, which is a huge palapa right on the water. Then there's a little space in between. Then you have El Dorado, and then there's us, which is called Swell Beach Bar.
Okay, tell us about Swell.
Well, so far we've had a great run. We've been there since 2010. It's a very comfortable menu. We have, obviously we try to specialize on seafood there, concentrate on seafood, but we also have sandwiches, salads, and burgers. And our cocktails are absolutely just fabulous. One of the drinks that we started there that we ended up implementing here at Vallarta Factory and our other place called DeCantaro, I'll talk about that place, is the Jubilee Menthol, which is mint rain. It's a purple rain, we call it mint rain.
Mint rain,
Yeah. It's very refreshing, and we can either serve that with Malibu rum or not. It's up to you.
So it's Malibu rum and...
It's basically a smoothie made with mango juice, orange juice, mint, ice, a little bit of syrup, not a whole lot, and that's it.
Sounds delicious.
It's very, obviously with the mint, and it's very refreshing.
Yeah.
So you add that, add a little bit of rum to that, and you got a killer cocktail.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right, so how big is that beach bar?
It's split in two sections. You have the bar and then the seating area for dinner, and then you also or lunch, and then you also have the lounge area. I think we're between 75 and almost 100 people there.
Oh, wow.
That we can
accommodate.
handle.
Yeah.
We can accommodate.
Okay, and what are the hours down there at Swell?
We go from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay, and then if you want a lounger over at Swell, do you have do you ask them to have?
We have umbrellas. We have proper seating arrangement for whatever you want to do.
Okay, so you don't have to pay extra to get a lounger. You just have to eat, right?
Not at all. You just gotta show up. If you don't have a towel, we can provide you one for that.
All right. Oh, that sounds like fun. You know, this is why so many of my guests say they love Swell. They just think that it's a great beach bar. They say it's like coming home.
Yeah, that's the same mentality. That's probably the reason why we've been so successful at all three locations. Is, we come from a long line of cooks, thanks to my grandmother, and we were always encouraged and always taught to be proper hosts.
Yeah. All right. You do it right. Well,
do it right.
Obviously, because
Not at all.
like I said, some really very important people here in town think you're pretty cool.
That's right.
All right. So you've got another.
DeCantaro, yeah.
DeCantaro. Tell me about that.
So DeCantaro was...
It's fairly new, right?
Fairly new, year and a half. It was traditionally going to be just a seafood place. Mm-hmm. And that all changed when we started working on the grill. And we said, how cool would it be if we did a live fire cooking station and finished everything on the grill, regardless if it was a seafood or steak or a hamburger or whatever it was, everything had to get finished off on the grill. I was well, I guess we're doing steaks and seafood then, and live fire cooking, and that's basically what's on the logo.
It, baby. It's like steaks and seafood.
Yeah, that's right.
Where do you get your meat?
Meat is mostly it's not local, but it's from northern Mexico.
Okay.
And we also do Mexican cuisine because obviously we're here in Puerto
We're like in
Vallarta.
Mexico, yeah.
We got a bunch of family recipes that That's on the menu as well. And you gotta go try it out.
Yeah.
We're on Basillio Badillo, right next door to Polo's, and right across the street from Joe Jack's, and next door to Margarita Grill. I
Yeah.
wanted to say Fajita Republic because
it's kind of close.
Fajita used to be there where Margarita Grill is now.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right, well, that's cool. I will have pictures, and I'll have a map that'll take you right to the front door of DeCantaro, and also get you a picture over where you guys are over at the beach, on the beach at Swell.
Great.
All right, so you're doing steaks, you're doing fish over at DeCantaro, and you
Seafood.
also seafood.
Yeah.
So that's not fish; it's everything, right? Comes out of whatever comes out of the
Right.
bar. And
Mexican.
And Mexican. So you're doing Mexican plates. You do like enchiladas and
Yeah.
all that other stuff.
Yeah, we have a Mexican platter. You can do also local dishes with dorado, red snapper. We have a spicy tuna that is absolutely to die for. We also have our octopus, which is one of the specialties. And then, of course, the meats.
Yeah.
Our cowboy steak is amazing. The tomahawk is absolutely amazing. We also have I like to call it a Cornish hen. It's basically half a chicken, but it's been grilled and sauteed with just spices, a little bit of butter, a little bit of garlic and white wine, and it is absolutely just mouth-watering.
Wow. Yeah. I'm in. I'm going there. Okay. All right, let's come back. Let's come back to Vallarta Factory.
Sure.
How do people find Vallarta Factory?
We're right across. We're on Libertad. And it's, if you're in Insurgentes, you go over the bridge, and then you see La Fuente del Puente on the right, the local flea market, and HSBC Bank. We're right on that corner.
Yeah, they are. And when he says you watch the world go by here, you do. You watch the world go by here.
Best corner in town.
Absolutely right. All right. Do you do Facebook? Do you do all
We're
that
on
other
Instagram.
stuff?
We do Facebook, and then we're also on TripAdvisor.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, we'll have links to all that stuff in the show notes of the show, of this particular podcast, and you can find it, of course, at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And I'll have Pancho's smiling face. I'm going to have pictures of the restaurant. I'll have even pictures of the other two. I'll get down to Swell and get some pictures of that, too, so you can see what's going on there. And is there anything I missed? Is there something else you want to add?
No, I think we got everything.
You think we covered it, Pancho?
Yeah, I think we did.
I think we did, too. You know, and when you come here, they cover everything. They're going to have everything you need. They've got booze, they've got coffee, they've got chocolate, they've got food. What else? What else could you need?
Well, there's two things maybe, but
Hey,
we're not going to go there.
It's a family show, dude. This is a family show. It is rated PG. All right. Pancho, I want to thank you so much for taking your time and allowing me to introduce you and Vallarta Factory and DeCantaro and Swell Beach Club to my listeners. I really appreciate that.
Well, it's truly an honor and a privilege, and thank you so much for letting us be on your show, and hopefully it won't be the last.
Hopefully not, because you guys have been here forever. I'm coming back and getting some more stories from you.
Great.
Pancho, thanks again, man.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Pancho. All right. He has some great recommendations. And that tip about exchanging your money for pesos before you leave home, that is totally a good tip. Speaking of good tips, I am going to be having Pancho back on the show in just a couple of months. We're going to be talking about real estate, and Pancho and his friends have lots of great information to share with us about real estate and the state of real estate on the Bahia de Banderas. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Pancho, for that. And I have pictures, like I said, of the three places that we talked about: Vallarta Factory, DeCantaro, and Swell Beach Bar. and they are in the show notes, so check those out for sure. I got some great shots. I don't know if you remember from the Best Brunch episode that I did a few weeks back, but I had included DeCantaro actually for the better Sunday brunches. They do a really nice job for the price, the atmosphere. DeCantaro is just a beautiful restaurant, and you just need to see it. The food's really good, and really good, just like over at Vallarta Factory and over at Swell Beach Club, right? I mean, come on. These guys have it rolled. They got it rocking and rolling, don't they? Anyway, check them out next time you're in Puerto Vallarta. If you haven't been, check them out for sure. All right, well, this should do it for this week. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, well, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition, my friends. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you're going to use someone else, so do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about those experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, JR has his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more, and I have links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and give me a good review if you would. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with each episode I create. And if you haven't been to my website, you really need to go there, have a look. I have links to the places that we talk about, interesting pictures, and more right there in the blog posts and in the show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right? All right. Thank you, Jose Luis from Toni's Boot Store. Check out his selection of boots and sandals, his purses, his belts, his shoes, his jackets, his bullwhips. Stop it. You will not be disappointed. And thank you, Pancho Shani. Check out his 3 wonderful restaurants, his 3 places there. Vallarta Factory, DeCantaro, Restaurant and Bar, and of course, Swell Beach Bar over on Playa Los Muertos. I love these places, and if you haven't been yet, well, you need to get out there next time you're in town. And hey, thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for all of you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino interno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, me brillas Puerto Vallarta, samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.